Brief government shutdown. Begins. Democrats block DHS funding over immigration killings, FEMA, and TSA without pay. At 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, January 31st, a brief, partial U.S. government shutdown began when the Republican-controlled Senate failed to pass funding legislation before the midnight deadline. Unlike previous shutdowns, this one was deliberately constructed as political resistance. Senate Democrats, unified in outrage over the deaths of two U.S. citizens, Alex Pretti and Renée, at the hands of federal immigration agents in January alone, had walked away from a bipartisan spending deal and demanded that Department of Homeland Security funding be separated from the larger appropriations bills. Their leverage was mathematical. Without Democratic votes, Republicans lacked the 60 votes needed in the Senate to pass any measure. President Trump and Senate Majority Leader John Thune refused to comply with the separation demand. At midnight, federal agencies including FEMA, the Transportation Security Administration, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and portions of the Justice Department ceased routine operations. Roughly 380,000 non-essential federal employees were furloughed without pay. Essential employees, including TSA screeners and Border Patrol agents, continued working without compensation. The political calculus was brutal and transparent. Trump had calculated that Democratic opposition to immigration enforcement would fracture, that some Democrats would abandon their colleagues rather than face constituent anger over a shutdown. He miscalculated. The administration had killed 2 American citizens in a single week with no accountability and no credible explanation. The videos contradicted every government narrative. The courts were rejecting illegal government actions. Senate Democrats decided that funding an agency engaged in extrajudicial killing was constitutionally indefensible. Senator Chuck Schumer declared on the Senate floor, "As long as there is no reform or overhaul of ICE, I will oppose any legislation that funds it," and Senate Democrats are largely united on this stance. Late Sunday, the Senate passed a continuing resolution separating DHS funding for 2 additional weeks, a tactical victory for Democrats that preserved their leverage to demand actual reforms. The House, scheduled to return Monday, would need to approve the modified budget, but at minimum, Democrats had prevented Trump from passing a full-year funding bill that would have locked in DHS operations without oversight through September 30th. The shutdown lasted only hours, but the message was unambiguous. Congress still retained power to constrain an executive branch operating outside constitutional limits.